I give the call to the member for Wentworth.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. My father was a gracious man who built relationships across the House, and he would have been particularly gratified by the graciousness of the Prime Minister in proposing this motion and the Leader of the Opposition in speaking on it. He was many things. He was loving, he was extravagant, he was generous, he was droll, he was fun. But the lessons that I take to his life in this place are courtesy, originality, and standing for something. So many remembrances have noted that he was a gentleman, that he was gracious and he was gentle. Whether he was representing a union, as he so often did, or accepting the apology of a Prime Minister, this time Hawke, who publicly mocked him for his accent, but later, as a true gentleman, apologised, he was courteous. In Parliament, I'm told he played the ball, not the person. He took this gentleness home, and he never shouted at us, but when he was very irritated, he would take himself for a drive. Now I think he just liked cars. He wasn't afraid to think differently and was genuinely interested in alternate views. He and his father spent many Sunday afternoons debating the events of the day with a whiskey and encouraged us as kids to do the same without the whiskey. You could change his mind with a good argument. This is a rare quality and quite the opposite, I think, of Twitter. No doubt it was that open-mindedness that enabled him to support my campaign, despite being perhaps the first party person in a safe seat to be dislodged by a community independent, as he was. He held many roles in his House that you have acknowledged. He was a manager of opposition business, Shadow Attorney General, Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, and my personal favourite, opposition spokesperson for the status of women. However, reflecting on his political career, he was proudest of the times that cost him, where he stood up, however quixotically. He crossed the floor to protect witnesses to access justice. He wrote a piece against his own government's foreign policy that was then quoted by the opposition leader. And he defended Laurie Oakes's court right to call politicians drunks and bludgers, and led to the parliamentary privilege as reforms that allowed the press to call us, frankly, many other things now, for which I'm sure they are extremely grateful. And then it was over. I remember the day that he lost his seat, sitting together at breakfast, writing a list of things that we could do now that he was out. It was a very difficult time for him, rebuilding his life outside this place. I learned from him then that when you are in Parliament, make the most of it. You don't have a second to lose. But remember, one day you will be out, that it will be over, and be ready for that too. 35 years ago, my father gave a condolence speech in the House for his father, my grandfather, who also served in federal Parliament. There is a certain poignancy in that, though if any of my children stand for Parliament, I know it will be time to get my affairs in order. But I would like to finish with a quote from that condolence motion, a favourite of my grandfather's, which seemed apt for Dad too. I have tried to do my duty. No one can do more. No one should do less. I thank the House.
As a mark of respect to the memory of John Michael Spender, I ask all present to rise in their places.